In this video, we'll be taking a look at 3 college football games happening on September 7, 2024, and providing you with free team picks and total picks for each one of those games. So 6 picks in total. Welcome back to Cash Out Sports. Let's dive right into it. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe and to click the bell icon to get notified as soon as these videos get released, so that you have more time to plan out your bets as we provide these videos on a daily basis. I can guarantee that you'll have all the important information that you'll need on these 3 college football games after fully watching this video. One more thing before we start: if you would like to gain access to our best exclusive sports picks to take your journey to the next level, then check out our Patreon in the link down below, where we offer our best single picks, parlay picks, and much more. Now let's get started. In what promises to be an exciting showdown between 2 teams that both emerged victorious in their Week 1 matchups, the Northern Illinois Huskies are set to face off against the 5th-ranked Notre Dame Fighting Irish at Notre Dame Stadium on Saturday afternoon. The game will be broadcast live on NBC and Peacock, making it a must-watch event. The Huskies come into this contest riding high after a dominant 54-15 victory over the Western Illinois Leathernecks. Meanwhile, the Fighting Irish are also entering this game with momentum, having secured a 23-13 road win against the Texas Agricultural and Mechanical Aggies last Saturday. Notre Dame has consistently demonstrated its ability to dominate the field, thanks to a roster brimming with talent. The Fighting Irish showcased one of the best pass defenses in the country during Week 1, allowing only 100 passing yards. In addition, running back Jeremy Love proved his worth by effectively moving the ball against a tough defense. While the Huskies have shown they can find the end zone, they are unlikely to do so with much success in this matchup. Although laying nearly 30 points might seem daunting, it's worth noting that Notre Dame began last season with back-to-back victories of 30 points or more over similar opponents, such as Navy and Tennessee State. The preparation for Week 2 has been markedly different for these 2 teams. Northern Illinois cruised past football championship subdivision foe Western Illinois by 39 points, whereas Notre Dame took on the challenge of facing a ranked Texas Agricultural and Mechanical team on the road, emerging victorious by 10 points despite being the underdog. It's fair to say that Texas Agricultural and Mechanical would likely defeat Western Illinois by a much larger margin, potentially by 70 points. While Notre Dame may not win by such a lopsided score here, they should still comfortably cover the 30-point spread. The talent gap between the Fighting Irish and the Huskies is simply too large to ignore. Northern Illinois quarterback Ethan Hampton spent last season on the bench, while Notre Dame's Riley Leonard was orchestrating upsets for Duke in the Atlantic Coast Conference. With Notre Dame returning 2 All-American defenders and having finished last season among the top 10 in points allowed and yards per game, they are poised for an easier challenge in this matchup. Therefore, the Notre Dame Fighting Irish to win and cover the spread as favorites is our full game side pick. When considering the total points, it becomes clear that there is a narrow path to hitting the under while still expecting Notre Dame to cover such a large spread. However, the more likely scenario is that the game will go over the projected total, with Notre Dame potentially reaching that number on their own. Although Leonard had an up-and-down performance in his debut as Notre Dame's quarterback, he faced a hostile environment and a Southeastern Conference defense. Expect significant improvement in this game, as Notre Dame's receivers should be able to create more separation, allowing for more deep passing opportunities. The combination of Love and Price in Notre Dame's backfield will keep the offense moving and the scoreboard ticking. While Northern Illinois won't replicate their 54-point output from their opener, they should manage to complete a few scoring drives to contribute to the over. Thus, over the projected total is our full game total pick. Middle Tennessee State versus Ole Miss. The Middle Tennessee Blue Raiders will head to Oxford, Mississippi this Saturday to face off against the number 6 ranked Ole Miss Rebels at Vaught-Hemingway Stadium. Middle Tennessee started their season on a positive note with a 32-25 victory over Tennessee Tech. The game was clinched with a thrilling 30-yard touchdown run by Frank Peasant in the final 16 seconds. On the other hand, Ole Miss began their season with a statement, delivering a dominating 76-0 win over Furman. The Ole Miss Rebels are expected to dominate the Middle Tennessee Blue Raiders in their upcoming Saturday afternoon matchup. With that in mind, I'm confidently backing the Rebels at -41 in this contest. Middle Tennessee, even by Group of 5 standards, has struggled, coming off a disappointing 2023 season where they finished with a 4-8 record. They faced a top 10 Southeastern Conference team last season and were soundly beaten by 49 points. In their season opener this year, Middle Tennessee's performance was far from convincing, as they barely managed to secure a home win against an football championship subdivision opponent. In stark contrast, West, Ole Miss appears to be on a mission this year, building on a strong 2023 season. Their Week 1 demolition of Furman, where they cruised to a 76-0 victory, shows that the Rebels aren't inclined to let up, even when comfortably ahead. Jackson Dart, who looked exceptional in the opener, will aim to continue his impressive form in this matchup. Ole Miss showcased their offensive firepower by scoring 76 points in their first game, while their defense allowed just 172 yards of total offense. Meanwhile, Middle Tennessee, though victorious in their opener, required a last-second touchdown to edge past Tennessee Tech, a team far inferior to the caliber of Ole Miss. The Rebels' offense should operate with ease, particularly with cornerback Jackson Dart, who is poised to exploit Middle Tennessee's vulnerable secondary. The Blue Raiders have struggled against the spread, failing to cover in 4 of their last 5 games and covering just once in their last 6 September outings. On the contrary, Ole Miss has covered the spread in 4 of their last 5 September games and 4 of their last 5 Week 2 matchups. Therefore, the Ole Miss Rebels to win and cover the spread as favorites is our full game side pick. While Middle Tennessee might not be the most formidable opponent, they did manage to score 32 points in Week 1 and have retained much of their offensive core from last season, which should result in some improvement. However, the Rebels are an offensive juggernaut, capable of putting up all 64 points needed for the over by themselves, as evidenced by their 76-0 thrashing of Furman last week. In fact, that scoreline could have been even more lopsided, as they were leading 73-0 after just 3 quarters. Jackson Dart's performance, with over 400 passing yards and 5 touchdowns on only 27 attempts, suggests that he is poised to torch the Blue Raiders' defense in this game as well. Ole Miss is likely to score early and frequently, potentially amassing enough points on their own to push the total over the projected line. While Middle Tennessee may struggle offensively, they should manage to put up some points late in the game against Ole Miss's second and third string players. Historically, the total has gone over in 13 of Middle Tennessee's last 20 games when they were the underdog. Similarly, the total has gone over in 4 of Ole Miss's last 6 games and in 4 of their last 5 Saturday matchups. Therefore, over the projected total is our full game total pick. South Florida versus Alabama. The South Florida Bulls are poised to make a significant impact this season, especially after their commanding 48-3 victory at home against the Bethune-Cookman Wildcats on Saturday. Junior quarterback Byron Brown will be aiming to elevate his performance in this upcoming game. In the previous matchup, he completed 13 of 20 passes for 152 yards, while also making an impact on the ground with 8 rushes for 74 yards, averaging an impressive 9.3 yards per carry and scoring a rushing touchdown. Meanwhile, the 4th-ranked Alabama Crimson Tide are firing on all cylinders, following their dominant 63-0 home win over the Western Kentucky Hilltoppers on Saturday. Junior quarterback Jalen Milroe delivered an exceptional performance despite limited playing time. He completed 7 of 9 passes for 200 yards, threw 3 touchdown passes, and added to his stat line with 10 carries for 79 yards, averaging 7.9 yards per attempt, and scored 2 rushing touchdowns. Last season, the Bulls gave the Crimson Tide a serious challenge, going into halftime tied 3-3 after forcing Alabama to punt on their first 5 possessions. However, this year's Alabama team is quite different. Despite this, South Florida boasts a fast-paced and explosive offense that could keep the game within a 30-point margin. The Bulls feature a capable dual-threat quarterback surrounded by talented playmakers. In last year's contest, South Florida frequently moved the ball into Alabama territory but faltered on crucial 4th downs, converting only 2 of 6 attempts. That experience should benefit the Bulls as they prepare for Week 2 of this season. If the South Florida defense can match the intensity they displayed against Alabama last year, it will be difficult for the Tide to cover the spread. The Bulls managed to record 5 sacks in that game, thanks to frequent blitzes on 3rd downs. With their offense now more capable and confident in finishing drives, the defense only needs to hold firm on a couple of key possessions to avoid a blowout. The Alabama Crimson Tide has been dominant against the spread, covering in 11 of their last 14 games as favorites by 30 or more points. Most of these games occurred under the guidance of coach Nick Saban. While Alabama certainly has the talent to run away with the game, it's worth remembering that South Florida managed to hold them to a tie at halftime last season. With a dynamic playmaker at quarterback, the Bulls should be able to put together a few sustained drives to keep the game closer than expected. Additionally, Alabama may be looking ahead to upcoming games against Wisconsin and Georgia, making this a potential trap game. With a new coaching staff in place, South Florida should feel somewhat confident after last year's performance. Given these factors, the South Florida Bulls to cover the spread as underdogs is our full game side pick. Alabama will be a formidable opponent to slow down, especially if Jalen Milroe continues to improve as a passer. His dual threat abilities make him a dangerous weapon behind an experienced offensive line. Running back Jase McClellan's big play potential is another threat to those betting on the under, but he's not the only backfield threat. Jam Miller also averaged an impressive 10.8 yards per carry in Week 1. Last season, South Florida's defense surrendered 49 or more points in 4 American Athletic Conference games, and their secondary, which features several new faces, will be tested against wide receiver Ja'Cory Brooks, who had 2 receptions for 139 yards and 2 touchdowns in Week 1, along with other talented Alabama pass catchers eager to make their mark. Byron Brown was one of only 2 players last season to accumulate both 3,000 passing yards and 800 rushing yards, joining LSU's Heisman Trophy winner Jaden Daniels. Brown managed over 90 rushing yards against Alabama last year and could have gained even more if sack yardage didn't count. If he can apply that level of pressure to the Alabama defense throughout the game, it could wear them down over time. With tough matchups against Wisconsin and Georgia looming, Alabama coach Nick Saban might opt to bring in reserve defenders if the score becomes lopsided. Both the South Florida Bulls and Alabama Crimson Tide showcase strong offensive capabilities in their season openers, and that trend should continue. Both teams have demonstrated the ability to run the football effectively, but quarterbacks Byron Brown and Jalen Milroe should also generate explosive plays. Therefore, over the projected total is our full game total pick. That's all for now, so if you have any other games you would like reviewed, then leave a comment down below with the game you would like analyzed. Subscribe to our channel, leave a like on this video, and we'll get to it as soon as we possibly can. We would also love to hear your opinion on the picks presented to you in this video, whether you agree or disagree with them, so leave a comment down below and do let us know.